Hello, darlings. You've all heard of Marilyn Monroe.
Welcome back, darlings. I'm Cognac Wellerlane, and we are here in my beauty room, and I am just about to do a Zoom interview with foot designer Kora Mancini. I hope you enjoy the interview, darlings. We'll be back. Keep watching. Pink champagne kisses. Okay. Welcome back, darlings. I'm Cognac Wellerlane, TV host, entertainment journalist, and we are doing a Zoom interview with a very good friend of mine. She is a fashion designer. She's bubbly, she's vivacious, she's beautiful, she's glamorous, and she is joining us today to do this wonderful interview. Kora Mancini, that's her name. She's a fabulous fashion designer. So Kora, tell my audience why you decided to become a fashion designer. Did this start at a very early age? Were you very young when you decided that this was what you wanted to do, that you wanted to design?
Hi, Cognac, and thank you so much for having me here. I adore you. You're amazing. You're so beautiful, and everything about you is so glamorous. So thank you for having me here. And well, yes, I'm a footwear designer. I'm a shoe designer.
Yes.
Not a fashion designer. a little bit of a difference. Maybe not in the competitional world that it's out there, because it's very competitive. But in the fact that I design shoes.
I see, and they're beautiful shoes. But when did you decide this? Were you a little girl? Were you much older? When did this all start for you? What inspired you to design shoes?
Well, perhaps the stars have decided for me. That's way before, who knows? Because my mom, when she was pregnant, she actually was craving white boots. I mean,
white boots?
White boots. Like women crave when they're pregnant, they crave food, right? But no, my mom craved white boots, and so maybe I imagine the store have decided for me way before that, and so my mom gave birth to me, and she actually gave birth to me when I was coming with I came with my ankle, my right ankle out, my right foot out. So I was around. I can't remember the name of the pregnancy, but I turned around and I came out right with my right foot out, not with my head.
Oh, so, with your feet. Oh my God, you were feet first. Wow.
Yeah. Right feet, right foot. So
are you a lefty or a righty?
I'm a righty.
Okay.
So it just seems like everything was kind of decided for me. I just follow in the footsteps.
So you followed in the footsteps. And when did you determine, what age were you when you determined that you wanted to be a foot designer?
When I was actually in high school, I grew up in Romania, and at the time was a poor country that we didn't have much choices, so I would buy very boring shoes and decorate them with earrings or any other type of jewelry and resell them for a profit. So I was entrepreneurial from like high school, and my girlfriend loved my shoes, my design shoes. So I wasn't entirely designing them, but I was redecorating them, make them prettier because you couldn't find anything like that at the time. So yeah, you could.
Fascinating. This is fascinating. So
Yeah,
you decided, you became entrepreneurial in high school. You started to design your own shoes.
yes.
And then people saw, wow, look at these shoes. They're really funky. I need to have a pair of these shoes. So that's when you started to make shoes and design them. Did you sell them to people, or?
Oh yeah. I had
Why not?
Oh yeah, I was on a roll. My business was actually very good, doing very well. And at the time, I was doing many other creative things because I was just getting myself in fine arts. I started to do fine arts for a very early age when I was 12. My parents put me to fine art school, and so I was 12 and I was already in art school. So I was doing a lot of creative things and I was selling. So I was entrepreneurial from like very early age.
Wow. So now you have progressed. You are entrepreneurial. You're designing shoes. You're selling your shoes. Tell my audience, did you go to school now, like in Romania? Were you able to go to a school after high school to learn how to become a fashion designer?
Well, absolutely, but I did not go for fashion. I actually went for fine arts, and I have many degrees, including 2 masters in fine arts. So I have a MFA from Romania and an MFA from Parsons in New York. I left Romania early, and then I actually came to New York straight to a master program, which was a very competitive one. And out of many people they were trying to get in a program, there was just a handful of people, and we actually only finished half, 50% of those people, because it was a very, very, very tough program, which I learned a lot. So I actually am very grateful for that program because it taught me a lot. And as an artist, I continue my art and I expose, and I actually had many art shows and collectors through the world, actually everywhere. So I did that professionally for quite some time, for a while. I had shows, I had collectors everywhere, and art shows here. I actually decorate with my art Rockefeller Center, 13 floors here in New York.
Wow, I didn't even know that about you, that you were really a full artist.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Rockefeller Center, Bank of America headquarters, another 13 floors. I have a lot of art. Before I started becoming so passionate about shoes, art was my true passion, which I actually did a lot. And so, yeah.
Michael, as you can see, is in the background washing his hands. He's joining. He's actually joining the Zoom interview. Isn't that funny?
Hi, Cora.
He's waving. Hello, Kora. So now, Kora, tell us the story now. Okay, you're an artist and you're working with Rockefeller Center, but tell us the story, the history behind how you actually came to this country. Can you tell us a little bit about that, why you decided to come to the good old USA?
Maybe because of my father's dream. I think that was really the beginning of putting a little bit of a seed in my head. I never really wanted because it was too far, and I had a tremendous success in my home country and in Europe also. So I was at the top of my game, if you said. I was the highest paid artist in Romania at the time. So I had absolutely no need. I had my own art studio, collectors, everything I needed to. So it was no necessity for me to go anywhere. But things were getting at a point where nobody was, how should I say, I wouldn't say serious, but they were not really, European thought is a little more like, leave it for tomorrow. If you can, why doing it today if you can do it tomorrow? So that's not my style. My style is like now. Let's do it now. And
it sounds like you had a lot going for you in Romania, but it sounds like you were like bored. And that's why you came here. Is that true?
Yeah, and I wasn't challenged. I was not challenged.
Yeah, I could see.
And it was like, what's the point? I mean, I understand it, and I'm grateful for the fact that they made me, a very well-known artist there, and I was always grateful for that. And the fact that they were buying my paintings, I wasn't any problem with me selling my art. So it wasn't necessarily for me to come to a better life. It was more for challenge myself to see, am I actually that good that they think they are? I am there. So it was a trying for me. It was something that I needed to try for my own
I
growth.
would think so. I would think that it would be a little scary to come here,
Oh yeah,
to start
but
a whole new life. Cora, I never realized how brave you are. You are a brave, very brave young woman.
thank you.
My
Actually,
goodness.
it's because of my mom. My mom have given me, inspired me to do all this. My mom always says
Your mother is truly your inspiration. She did inspire you to come to this country and to make a life for yourself. And so, I mean, I'm just curious though, as an artist, as a painter, what did you paint? Was it modern art? What kind of art did you paint, basically?
there were very large paintings, stainless steel, painting on stainless steel, huge among us, very, very big. I actually learned how to weld myself. I was not a delicate painter. My painting process was merging my whole body, actually, pretty much. It was almost like a physical kind of way of involving myself. It was not anywhere delicate and nowhere colorful. I was actually a black and white painter. I put a lot of emphasis in black. Black was my color. I know for a lot of people, and they say that's what it says, that black is not a color, but I made it to be a color because it was the contour, the way it was putting in relationship with other colors, it would just become my color. So I recreate black in many ways. And texture, I was very, very interested in textures, a lot of texture, a lot of structure to my painting. So I was, well, you can say an abstract painter, yes, but my paintings were more architectural than anything. You could guess if you wanted.
And that's very apropos to living in New York City, to have like that black and the steel and the white. It's very like apropos for the structure of New York City because of all our skyscrapers and all our industry. So that's like perfect art, really, for New York.
I know.
I see why Rockefeller Center wanted you as their artist to put into. So you designed these pieces of art for like office buildings?
There were for their conference rooms.
Conference rooms, excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And now, I actually even like have my own art consulting company for about 5 years. I run an art consulting company, and I had many projects decorating different hotels in New York City and banks and other places like that. Because the art I was doing, it was really it was actually looked for. People wanted to have it in their offices, and I had many big projects with my artwork.
My goodness, this is a side of you I never even knew.
I know. I'm glad that
When was the switch when you started getting into the shoes? How did that all? I mean, you did it in high school, but how did you put this into practice in New York City?
Well, I was living at the time in Chelsea, and my desire for it started growing. I had a beautiful office in facing Empire State Building for my art consulting company. Everything was going very well, but somehow this passion for shoes started growing. Like I was growing a baby. I was pregnant with shoes, and I could not stop it. I could not. I tried maybe a little bit because my business was doing good. I had a good partner in the business. We having a good project, so it was like, why? And I would also feel bad for him not like leaving the company and but it was something like just uncontrollable, I could say. So I was spending days and nights. My husband at the time started like understanding my passion and start buying me shoes every other day to make me happy. And yeah, I was getting so much into Zappos, looking like Zappos at the time was a little early on, so I was looking, what do they do? I couldn't stop. So one day I was walking on the streets in New York and Chelsea, on my street on 21st, and I saw on the street, on the sidewalk, a little shoe. There wasn't actually that little. It was a mock-up of a shoe, but it was an art piece. It was right on my feet. And I was like, that is, I don't know. I took it as a sign. I'm sure, you know, it's nothing, but I took it as a sign. So I went right back to school. I went to FIT, to Fashion Institute of Technology. And I did a course because that's all they have there. They actually have a course in teaching how to make shoes. And that's what I did for 1 year. I learned how to make shoes there, and it was a great teacher who actually taught me how to do it by hand, which I realized I enjoy very much. So I could sketch because I'm an artist. I could sketch very well, but how about making the shoes? It's a completely different type of design. It's not just from your imagination. It's not from your mind. It's actually a physical object that it has to fit people. They have to walk.
Exactly. It has to make sense. I understand exactly what you're saying.
I am not going to just make them for the art sake.
Just make a design. You have to understand the structure of the foot. You have to understand there's many facets to designing shoes. Now, you are right now working with a company. You're designing a line of shoes for this company. Tell my audience how you became involved with this, and tell us about the shoes and the company.
Okay. Well, actually, after the school, I got involved in many different companies, and my first gig was with Nathan Clark, who actually taught me how to make shoes by hand for 5 years. So I worked hand in hand with him for 5 years. He was 90 and he passed away when he was 95. So I had the tremendous honor to work with him, and he passed me all this knowledge and the passion for the shoes. So I grew totally passionate about shoes. I started my own brand, Kora Mancini. I started my own brand at the time, and I make my first samples, boots, that's what I wanted to do, boots. And I made my first samples, and after that, I took other jobs because he passed away. I took other jobs to different companies, and I designed for quite some time. I would say a bit over a decade. I designed for different companies, and I actually traveled the world to go to different factories to follow trends in Europe. My career has been a true shoe designer career, so I'm proud of it. And lately, I've been really truly focusing on my own brand, Kora Mancini brand, and I've been working with this company. It's called Harry Shoes. It's actually a retail company, and it's our website.
Shoes, I love it. So
I always been very interested in comfort shoes, and I know that the problem is that the connotation of comfort shoes is not a pretty one.
I saw your shoes online, and I thought, even though they're not high heels like I like, they happen to be. They're actually pretty shoes. I mean, I would wear them. They are very pretty. Do you have a sample of what? There you go. Yeah, those are beautiful, those shoes. I would wear that. Do you make sandals too? Do you make sandals also?
This one is the collection called Mama Knows Best. And
Mama Knows Best. That's your brand right there. Mama Knows Best.
My brand is Kora Mancini, but this collection is called Mama Knows Best. And why? Because Mama do know best, right? Even so, we are dog moms. We still know best.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell us a little bit more about. We're running out of time, but tell us a little bit more, because we're going to end the interview pretty quickly. But,
well, the shoes are feature a comfort insole that's called Kora sole, because it has foam. It has a bit of arch support here. It's very, very comfortable. It's all leather. It's pretty, and you can take it out if you want, and if you have your own insoles. So the good thing about working with Harry is that because they have a tremendous 100 years experience in comfort shoes. So I work for them for over a year now to really pay attention to their customer, which becomes now my customer because that's the customer I want to sell the shoes for. There are women that have a lot of style and they know what they need, and they need comfort with style. And this is a shoe made for New York women with style, but doesn't mean like you have to be in New York to order them. And they're available online now because we're on
Tell
the
us the website. Tell us the website where we can learn more information about the shoes.
My website is koramancini.com, and from there I have a link that takes you directly to the online store. So you can directly order them, koramancini.com.
Fabulous. Now we're going to take a look at a video that you produced on YouTube, and we're going to see, my audience is going to see that now.
Kora Mancini designs for the cosmopolitan femme who understands the significance of aesthetics and the essence of glamour tempered with practicality. She designs what many call footwear, but what she calls gems for gliding across floors. Her work embodies a myriad of qualities and expressions that oscillate from minimal to ornate, from smooth to textured, from visual to tactile, and always from comfortable to more comfortable. Born in the land of the Dacians and Vlad the Impaler, this artist, or shall we say the sorceress of color, form, and shape, has dedicated the last several years to focusing on one of the most important articles of clothing a woman can possess. A professional fine artist, Kora Mancini earned master's degrees from Bucharest University and Parsons in New York. This multifaceted designer has had an extensive art career, which gained her much renown in Europe. Her romance with shoes begins soon after her arrival to the Big Apple. After long periods of shoegazing on Fifth Avenue, she decides to get in on the action not as a consumer, but as a source. She wanted to be the mastermind behind those wonderful, quote, gems that she first noticed on this most prestigious thoroughfare. Institute of Technology became her home, and it was there where, upon completion of her studies, Kora became a footwear designer-to-be, not knowing that she would become the sorceress apprentice. Kora soon met Nathan Clark, the shoemaking icon who created the famous desert boot. He took her under his wing and made her the designer she is today.
How long you work for the Chaplin? 3 years?
Kora always had the best style.
Her next venture is a dance performance / fashion show she organized during Fashion Week and held at the Park Avenue. Eventually, the press came knocking, and publications such as Footwear Plus, New York Resident, Fashion Art Magazine, This Week in New York, and Vanity Fair made the young shoegazer turned shoe maven a newsworthy topic. Today, Kora Mancini is taking her craft to a higher level, not only in design, but in supporting the American economy by making Made in the USA a major prerogative. She works with a team of expert shoemakers based in New York to create footwear that's meticulously crafted and produced with pride, much like that of the great traditional shoemakers of Italy. Ms. Mancini adheres to 6 benchmarks of quality when it comes to her product, and they are comfort, durability, relevance, aesthetics, uniqueness, and authenticity. These are particularly evident in her latest creation, Korada. This recent magnum opus was privately funded by Kora and is the first of her projects to be fully produced in the United States. This line targets trendy women in their 20s. She's also working on an above 30 line called Mancini and is setting up a customized footwear service. Future is bright, and the ideas keep on flowing through this strong designer. Kora spends countless hours still shoegazing and researching current future trends. Her current goal is to seek partners and investors that understand the financial viability of her talent and share her dedication to style. Her vision is strong, her standards are high, and she invites you to join her on her ventures.
Welcome back, darlings. I hope you enjoyed the video and the little insert video that we did with Kora Mancini that was produced some time ago. And thank you so much, Kora, for becoming one of my guests here on my Zoom interviews. I love you dearly. You are a beautiful young woman and your shoes are gorgeous. I want you to tell my audience one more time where we can go to find out more information about you and your brand.
Cognac, I thank you so much for this interview. Thank you so much, and thank you to the audience to listen to my little story. And I would love them to have my shoes on, try them, and actually feel them because they're very comfortable and very good looking. KoraMancini.com. Just go to my website, and from there, it takes you right on the online store. Right now, they're on pre-order because we're still under COVID, but the factory will start soon, and the factory is in New York. So remember, you buy made in New York shoes, 100%. So that makes them sustainable because we don't bring them from anywhere, and the leather is sustainable. So we really care about all this.
Fabulous. Well, thank you, darling. I love you dearly. And pink champagne kisses from Lido Beach.
Thank you so much.
Pink
Sonia.
champagne kisses, darling. Well, that concludes my interview with foot designer Kora Mancini. Keep watching, darlings. More Zoom interviews coming up right here from my Barbie beauty room. Pink champagne kisses.
Hello, darlings. You've all heard of Marilyn Monroe. Some of you know Bridget Bardot. Well, now it's time for the Cognac show. I said Cognac, ooh, ooh. I said Cognac, ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm a bubbly blonde, fabulously dressed to impress. One-of-a-kind girl. I was brought into this world wrapped up in pearls. I love to mingle, though my husband reminds me I'm not single. I meet and greet both the famous and the elite. I ride in limousines, drinking the finest champagne, wearing furs, dazzling diamond jewelry. A girl can't complain. I live the upscale life, dining in the finest restaurants, eating the best caviar for free. And no matter how much I enjoy cognac, ooh, ooh. I said cognac, ooh, ooh, ooh.
It's been a Crybaby Productions, darlings.